Today we'll be doing Sinnoh Power Rankings, and I have my good friend Vox with me.
Hello, how's it going? You see that little spin in the basket? That's me.
Yeah, that's him. That's his team. I'm the North Shore Nido Kings. We're here doing Sinnoh Power Rankings. And yeah, let's get into it. So what we take into consideration is how well the team synergizes with each other, especially the first few picks, because 9 times out of 10, the first few picks are going to be your power picks. Unless you're someone who is in this call and wants to meme.
Hey, okay. I like big Reggies and I cannot lie. What
Ooh,
can I say?
and no one can deny.
Um, exactly. And of course, the things we're also going to take into consideration is the Terra captains themselves because they will play a big role in either your offensive or defensive core.
Yeah, I also think building off that, your Terra captain choices can either win you or lose you games as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, Obviously, we have the brute power coming up next, and I think this is got to be like something very specific because the brute power could mean just like either your sweeping capabilities or your wall breaking capabilities versus a enemy team that you're going to be going up against. I think it's very important to consider this because if you can't break the enemy team's defensive core, then you're not really going to you're probably just not going to win unless you've got like some crazy tricks up your sleeve, which you might.
It's true. Next is the defensive core. How well like your mons can take hits. Um, I will say in another draft league, I had the defensive core of Ferrothorn, Slowro, and Blissey, and everyone hated me because I combined that with Dragapult and Weavile. So everyone hated me.
Oh my gosh. Ah, I love it. That's honestly like when speaking of defensive cores, especially when it comes to my team, um, I think that's one of the things that I love most about the Reggies is they have some crazy defenses, and I think I just definitely look forward to that. But obviously, we're not just talking about that. We're just talking about like immunities, your ability to stop the enemy from doing stuff. Like maybe you want them to stop rapid spinning, so you want to have like a ghost type maybe. Or maybe you want to have a poison type on your team that is grounded to stop toxic spikes. It's not just like specifically them eating hits. It's like also their ability to make it easier for the rest of your team.
Mm. Next up is hazard game and hazard removal. This is really important to most teams. Um, Obviously, hazards make things easier for your breakers, and if you cannot remove hazards, they will hinder you. I've lost games purely because I did not draft good enough hazard removal, and toxic spikes were a nuisance.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, sometimes toxic spikes can be so, no pun intended, toxic. It's just so brutal. Uh, um, in your opinion, do you think is the best toxic spike setter?
Um,
It's probably Glamora, right?
yeah, I would say Glim or Toxapex.
Wait, does little Glimmet get that ability? The same one where it
I'm
just like gets
pretty
slapped and
sure.
like toxic.
We'll find out because the team
Oh, that's pretty
has
cool.
Glimmet on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
league.
One of the mentions, Black Roses, they have a little Glimmet, and that's actually kind of cool. I didn't know the little thing got it. That's awesome.
Pretty sure it does.
Cool. Good job, Black Roses. I hope so because I'm saying it like it actually does, so I'm hoping so.
We'll find out later
If
on.
yeah, yeah. Um, I guess next is just the overall versatility of the teams, right? Um, I think when we say that, we mostly mean the ability to use the whole team or have like accessibility to do multiple things with your team.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think it's very difficult to be versatile if the role that it's fulfilling is the same one every single week. It becomes a little bit more predictable. So that could be something to take into consideration. What do you think?
I totally agree. I think if your team's not versatile enough, you're going to be bringing the same 4 to 5 mons every week, and then 1 to 2 mons are gonna come like out of the rest of your team. Especially if you do not have the right Terra captains on your team.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. It's definitely going to be a huge thing to put into consideration for sure. Also, you guys can probably see the disclaimer there. Very important that you take everything we say with a grain of salt. I am in no way, shape, or form any good at like draft leagues, as far as I know. I just started like I don't know 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and I've never actually done too much competitive Pokemon either. I know a little bit. I have watched videos before, and I like Pokemon.
Yeah,
But
I'm the
in terms
same.
of like actual draft league, yeah, so just take everything we say with a grain of salt. Just like a little bit of salt, just like put it on your shoulder, throw it over. I'm not sure how the saying actually goes and what it actually means, but a little bit of salt.
Anyways, let's get into it. As our 16th place out of 16 teams, we have the Paradox Medicare. I cannot speak English. Do you want to take this one, or do you want me to start?
Um, I'll have you do it because I did fight this team in my round one, and
Yes.
I'd rather hear what you have to say for it first and then give an opinion.
Um. All right. In my opinion, um, this team decided to draft Grimmsnarl, Domanitan, and Encyclizar as their first 3 picks. Um, I think Grimmsnarl round 1 is a waste. I think it would have came back to you round 2. I think round 2 Grimmsnarl is fine because it definitely wouldn't have made it back to you in round 3. I just think Dam and Cyclizar round 2 and round 3 they were better options. Um, and then what you've done is you've drafted low points first and then gone to your high points, and your high points weren't even that. There were better options for your high points, in my opinion. Like you hit Lycanroc, Dust, Jirachi, and Iron Hands as your high points. I think Jirachi is a good pick. I have come to grown as a love hate relationship as Jirachi. It gives you rocks, it gives you Serene Grace, Iron Head flinches. Um, I think just this team's synergy together is not well. You have Weezing and Average your Terra captains. I would have preferred to see Quagsire Bombardier, because in the right scenario, Quagsire can destroy a team with Curse and recover with Terra. Um,
Yeah, Quagsire is definitely super strong with the Terra, I think. Quagsire would have been so cool versus me. I would have cried because it has the ability to go unaware and then maybe like very specific Terra versus me because I did fight this team in my round one. Is it round one?
yeah,
Is it hour
round
one?
one.
I don't know what it's called.
Round
Uh,
one.
don't worry about that. That part's not it. But I think in my personal opinion, one of the things when I was team building versus it is when I was going over the team and I was looking at the team. I think one of the main things that I did notice is that the lack of a special attacker, which allows okay, I'm going to run most of my Pokemon with defensive stats, and that allowed me to much be really good versus the team in terms of like tanking those hits and soaking them in. I think it's definitely something to take into consideration when you're actually team together. Um, there is a special attacker in Jirachi, but it's not the strongest special attacker. And the other offensive threats are, don't get me wrong, they're very strong. Lycanroc is very strong. I super like its ability to just hit really hard. Beedrill's very fast, and it hits really hard. Darmanitan hits especially hard. And then if you can get Grimmsnarl in and set up for like sword stances with the Beedrill, I think that's gonna be really. Does Beedrill get sword stance? Am I making that up actually?
Do not know. Let me
It
check
looks
for
like it
you.
can dance.
It does look like it can dance.
I'm
Uh,
assuming Beedrill can dance.
Beedrill, can it dance? It can dance. It can in fact dance.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so setting up screens, letting Beedrill able to take a hit that it normally wouldn't be able to, that would be really good because Beedrill's very, very fast. It forces enemy teams to make sure that they want to pretty much prep for that because if they don't, then that Beedrill can run away with the game. Its ability to just uh, get the swish initiative as well and U-turn, it's very good. I do like the U-turn with a lot of his Pokemon, really. Jirachi's, Cyclizar, Darmanitan, I believe, also U-turn. Beedrill gets it. So the
Yeah.
switch initiative is definitely there. I think what
Yeah.
it's lacking, though, is that special attacker that it can use to break down the physical walls that are going to run in its team's way. And I think that's what definitely is what you were talking about, where it's just like the lack of the synergy in that department. It's going to be really easy to just bring a defensive build versus a team, and then unfortunately be able to take it away because of that.
So yeah, I would honestly change your Terra Caps to Bombardier and Quag. Terra Quag can run through teams because Weezing really wants to keep its typing. Um, and yeah, it's just like just honestly have a look at on board and see what you can change because this team needs team synergy, even though it has it a little bit with Mega Beedrill, Cyclizar, and Grim. Um, outside of that, it doesn't really synergize well together, in my opinion. But yeah, shall
Yeah,
we?
one thing to also note is, oh yeah, yeah. I was just gonna
Yep.
stick on those other notes is like the part about hazards. I think it is stealth rocks and both spikes that really hurt the team a lot because it forces a lot of pressure onto, I believe, Cyclozar being one of the main spinners on the team, if not one of the
The
only ones. I
only
don't know if Iron Hands looks like it.
no.
I know Hariyama can defog, I
Bijou,
think. I don't know if Iron Hands.
Mega Bijou defog. Cyclizar. I think Bombardier also gets defog. Um,
Yeah,
but
but
then but
the
then
team's just
again,
also very weak to that.
no, it does not. So you only are running defog and rapid spin. Defog Mega Bijou and Cyclizar rapid
Yeah,
spin and defog, and you don't want to run defog Mega Bijou, which means you're forced to bring rapid spin Cyclizar every week or boots on a lot of your mons.
yeah, yeah. But we can move on. We can move on.
All right. The Kyoto Crydons is our 15th pick. I'll let you take this one away.
All right, let me actually take a look at the team real quick, and then I will
While you're
find
doing,
out
while
what
you're
my
doing that,
thoughts are on it.
while you're doing that, I'll say
Yeah?
this: rocks, rocks destroy this team. Your only way to get rid of
Yes.
rocks is
I
defog Yanmega, and you do not want to run defog. You have to run boots, defog on Yanmega, and Yanmega doesn't really want to run either.
yeah, Yen Mega as a Terra Captain is really awesome. It's super cool. I actually really, really like it.
Yeah,
One of the things that actually be so powerful, I think, is the speed boost with Terra Bug and the ability that makes it so people, or by people I mean Pokemon, they can't resist the attack. I think that's gonna be so strong. Like that's like that alone is so powerful, I think, and it's I would love to see that. I think that can catch a team off guard and really cause some real big damage. But like what you said, the team is very very weak to Stealth Rock. I think what is it one, two, three Pokemon are just weak to Stealth Rocks, and two of them, or one of them being your defensive mon, two of them being your offensive ones. And I think that's really that right there really hinders it a lot. And that's just Stealth Rocks. That's not even including Toxic Spikes or regular spikes.
I will
So I
say
think that
this
alone is
team's sorry, you go.
no. I was just gonna say that alone is definitely what hinders the team a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
I will say though, this team's brute power is there. It's up there as one of the strongest in the league with just brute power. If we take brute power just alone, if we're just basing the teams of brute power, this would easily be top three. But we're not, because you have the Roaring Moon, Urshifu Rapid, Galarian Darmanitan, and Mega Mawile. and Tinted Lane's Mega Light Ball Pikachu. You have a bulky Skello Dirge that learns Torch Song. I swear to God, if
Honestly,
I do
though,
not,
I'm also looking forward to
you go.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I swear to God, if I do not see
No, I was
Lucky
just gonna
Punch
say,
Chansey once this league, I'm gonna personally get you banned. I better see a
wait,
Lucky
what does
Punch.
Lucky Punch do? What is that?
Lucky Punch increases Chansey critical hit rate by 2. If I do not see Lucky Punch modest 252 Chansey once this league, I'm gonna be mad.
That'd be fun. Can we do like a choice banded Lucky Punch double slap? That's with an extra. No. Sorry. Or loaded dice. You want to make sure you hit 5 times.
Oh yeah.
No, but otherwise, yeah, like you were saying, the hyper aggression of the team is super strong. Once again, though, a little bit weaker on the special side of attackers. So you can also be hindered by somebody with a strong physically defensive core.
I
All
would.
they have to do is just take out one or two of your special attackers, and yeah.
Yeah. The other main issue with this team, and a lot of teams do this, including my own team. So I'm not coming at anyone here. I'm coming at myself as well. Is that there's two things with this team. One, you do not have a mon that sits between Roaring Moon and Urshifu Rapid in your speed. So mons that sit between that can take advantage of their EVs and natures and run Modest and Adamant. And two, you do not have a mon that breaks 120 speed. Those are another two concerns I have with this team.
But otherwise, I really do like it. Chansey is a super good defensive wall, so is Skeledirge. Nidoqueen can kind of put it in there, but having only two of them does put a lot of pressure on them if your opponent is also running something with a hyper offensive core. So definitely look out for that.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, I think we can carry on.
Kims. I butchered that name so bad. As our 14th pick. Do apologize.
All right.
All right. You want to take this away?
Yeah, I can take it away. Uh, I do like the team as a whole. I like every single Pokemon on here. Actually, I take it back. I don't like Rotom Frost, but that's a personal thing. I think. But my personal problem with the team, um, and this is why I personally put it so low, is because a lot of the team requires very specific stipulations. Ursaluna, as the first pick, really strong Pokemon, probably one of the hardest things to switch into. Problem with it though is that it has a really bad special defensive stat and it's really slow. So any kind of special attacker would really hurt it. I think it might actually be a little bit okay, because of its high HP stat, but it's still just a hard Pokemon to basically make sure that you can get off, especially in a dragon format where somebody has all knowledge they need and probably are going to prepare for it really well. I think that's one of the bad things about not just this Ursaluna, but the other Ursaluna as well.
I don't think the other Ursaluna got
Palafin
drafted.
having did not.
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
We'll
I
find
don't.
out.
I don't want to know either. We will. We will find out. Palafin having the stipulation of having to out first, which isn't the hardest thing to do, granted, but it does force somebody else to take a hit or get or something. Hatterene, love the Pokemon, one of the fairy types in my opinion. I love Hatterene. Hatterene looks, even the design, it's what it does. I love it. It also looks like Hatterene and Stack Attack are trying to do some like Trick Room thing, which is kind of cool. Um, I do like that. I don't like Trick Room as a whole in general because it definitely can run through teams, especially if you're not ready for it. But yeah, I think on top of that, it can also run up greens if it really wants to. I think Stack Attack it can as well. Annihilate, I do like a lot. One of the main things that really hinders this team for me, though, is like I was saying, it requires so much stipulations to go right in order for it to work. like Annihilate has to get hit. Ursaluna wants to be up. Palafin needs to switch out first. Hatterene, Sakataka probably have to use a Trick Room and have to probably hold a Mental Herb if you use that too often. Iron Moth, so either it doesn't have to run certain like move sets, but it probably does better with like a Specs or a Scarf or the I don't know if it's a berry booster energy is powder. I don't know what that is.
Booster energy.
uh, yeah, is that a is booster energy a powder? It sounds like something you put in a drink.
It
I'm
does.
not
Uh,
too sure.
it's not. But yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, you have one
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
best counters in the game to Pult and Mega Ordino. Yeah, because Pult does not get Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, it's a normal fairy type.
I think Mega Ordino
Oh, that's
is
so funny.
the only issue with Mega Ordino is that it does not get Regenerator. Ordino does. Mega Ordino does not, which
Well, are we
is
forced to Mega Evolve once we come in?
no.
Can we just like stay in
You can
regular?
keep it. You can keep it as Ordino for as long as you want to. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I thought so because I think you just have to hold the Mega Stone though, right? Is that what it is?
yes, I think it is.
I don't actually know the rules on that. Maybe cut this part out. Don't listen to this mod. Just we know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I just all I think this team is that it went well to begin with your first few picks. I think honestly, I think Palafin, Ursaluna, and Hatterene are great together. I think you have your decently fast offensive pressure in Palafin. You have your slow hard hitter in Ursaluna who excels in Trick Room, but there's no item to extend Trick Room, which means you've got 4 turns to make something out of it. Um, I just think the rest of this team is kind of just good mons slapped together, is what I think it is. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
I don't think this team
I do
synergizes
like the
well.
speed.
I think the speed's great.
I mean, we could be yeah, the speed's great. I like this. I like the setup of it. And like I said, dude, it's like I do like all the Pokemon on it. It's just they all require stipulation of something to work out well.
And the
That's all.
hazards,
That's my only personal.
yeah, and the hazards are kind of lacking as well, in my opinion.
Um,
And what's your removal?
Tangela looks like it can.
Just Tangela spin
Does
or
Rotom
shot?
have defog in National? It does.
I think it does. This is why I have
I'm pretty sure.
Showdown up. Yeah, Rotom gets defog. Um,
Okay, so yeah, the only problem is that it probably has to run boot speeds because it's actually weak to rocks, unfortunately.
yeah,
The poor fridge,
you have
the
no
real fridge.
spinner as well, which is
They do have
hindered.
Hatterene though, and that's pretty useful
Yeah, yeah,
with
Magic
that
Earth,
magic bounce. I
Hatterene.
like it.
True.
Wait, Stack Attack doesn't get rapid spin? It looks like it does. It
No,
looks
if
like it
Stack
should.
Attack, I swear to God, if they gave Stack Attack a rapid spin, because
That'd
fun,
be so fun.
no, it did not. Because fun fact, in Sun and Moon, the
Ah,
Diancie got rapid spin. The Diancie was actually a spinner in Sun and Moon, and I think it was,
was it really?
yeah, it actually got rapid spin. I think they got rid of it Gen 8 or
Yeah.
Gen 9.
I think one of the things that people definitely have to watch out for, though, are the first two picks because Ursaluna being a very strong special hitter and then Palafin being a very strong physical hitter, I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
So other teams, watch out for those two.
Alright.
All right,
The
we could probably move
Mudkip
on.
Mad Lads. Number 13. I have a slight bias towards
You
this
want to take
team.
it away with this?
Yeah, I'll take it away. I have a slight
Yeah.
bias towards this team because NPBA Season 8, so last season, was my first season, and I drafted a mini Sandcore team with Hippowdon Drakazult. And I had so much fun with it. Hippowdon Drakazult is so much fun because all you do is click Bolt Beak, and it's great. Um, but honestly, I think outside of Megazard Y, This team is really, really good. Megazard Y holds this team back. And it's just, once again, versatility and team synergy. I think your defensive core in Ferrothorn and Tapu Fini is amazing. I like it a lot. Um, I really like it a lot. Um, I just think outside of Tapu Fini, your team's lacking on the specially defensive side. I'll be honest. Um,
Yeah, in my opinion, the defensive core is one of the other issues on the team, mainly because it looks like the main three defensive Pokemon you have on your team are Hippowdon, Ferrothorn, and Tapu Fini. And the problem with that is not that bad because they're actually very good Pokemon. The only problem with it is that it makes them very susceptible to being forced to use them every single time. Like you might need to bring them every single week, and that might not allow you the flexibility you need to deal with another team. Um, that is my only gripe. I mean, I think Eldegoss is actually pretty good defensively, if I remember correctly.
it very
The
well.
only problem is that grass types normally, yeah. I
Elder
think the only
Gods. I
problem is
mean,
that grass types
it's
generally all that great in terms of.
yeah, it's 120 special defense and it gets regenerator. So yeah,
Yeah, it definitely gets regenerator. I know that it's a little,
it's a
little fuzzy ball. It's
there's also a wither ball user. So
Yeah, and that was another like interesting fun thing. I know Charizard does also get Weather Ball. The only problem is that when you go Mega, it just takes away the sand, and that that is what you like you said. It's like that's team synergy there. It's very it sucks.
it really does.
um,
I
the, the Zard hurts the team a little bit in my opinion
we were going
because one
over.
of your you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you finish your thought.
Okay, I was just gonna say that the main reason being is because the Excadrill and the Dracozolt do really good in finishing up a game, but if there's a Pokemon that only Charizard can break, then he's going to take away the sand, and it breaks that synergy. On top of that, it's 4 times weak to rocks. Not, it's not like the worst thing, um, because you probably don't need to switch too much, I'd imagine. Or you have like a really good Rapid Spinner in Ferrothorn and an Excadrill. Um, you also have Mousehold, of course. Mousehold being really awesome there. I think it was a cleanup. It's
Tidy up,
tidy up. That's what it is.
tidy up.
Yeah, I gotta clean the house. Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
that
I think that's my only issue with it personally. But otherwise, I love the team. It's very strong. If you're to fix like the sand and make it more sandy,
yeah.
like maybe
I think
swap the Charizard with a Mega Tyranitar and then get like a Stoutland
Stoutland.
going or something like that.
Yeah,
That'd be
we were
pretty
talking
awesome.
about that, and then maybe you can drop Excadrill and pick up something else. Honestly, if you have Hippowdon,
What? I love Excadrill.
I think so too. I just think if you're going to go that deep into sand, because doesn't Mega Tita keep Sandstream?
Yeah, it does.
Tyranitar, yeah. I don't think you need. I think you either drop Hippowdon or you drop thingy Excadrill and pick up something else that benefits this team more. If you
That
go
could be the case.
if you go along the Mega Tita route is what I'm saying.
Wait, does Club get rid of like?
Huh?
This is gonna sound dumb because I'm not the smartest, but does cleanup or sorry, tidy up? Does that get rid of like weather? I don't know. It doesn't, right?
No, I
Can't
don't.
you can't clean up. You can't clean up the sun and snow. I mean, you can clean up snow and sand.
Bro, imagine if you could. We'll I'll
Oh
double
my
check that
gosh.
right now, live on video. Uh,
There's no way. You
Tidia
can't.
clears all
Not unless you have
substitutes
like
and hazards. It gets rid of subs. Okay, I did not know that.
that's pretty cool. I think it also gets rid of like light screens too.
All right.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Fun fact. Um, Lilith, you took Miss Magus from me. How dare you? That's my final thoughts on this one.
Oh, alrighty. I
Ha, look whose team it is.
wonder why this is at 12th. It should have been at 1.
Uh, yeah, my team's great. It should have been at one. Not a personal bias, just a straight up fact. That's it. We can actually skip this one. It's just should have been number one. How did it get here? So weird.
Nah, I'll start this off.
Yeah, critique it. Go ahead.
Critique. I think you memeing with getting all what, 6 Reggies? Is it 6 or is it 5? 6, yeah. All 6 Reggies.
It's six, yeah.
Um I think it's a Giga Chad move. Um and honestly, it works. Like with the teams you've built around the Reggies with, you've even got Zoroark as a fake Reggie, which is great. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
absolutely.
you have Lando, Mega Venusaur, Buzzwole, Starmie, and Hisuian Zoroark to take all your fighting hits for you. So like your fighting
Absolutely.
weakness is gone. Um
So I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate here
okay.
on
Yep.
what I think would be my specific downfall for my team. So my team is really good versus certain Pokemon for sure, and defensively, it's like I would say it's one of the best. But there is a weakness that is on my team, and I will say it here. I'm not afraid to say it because I want to judge everybody's team the same. My weakness on my team, from what I see, is on the special side. So if something comes that's like really strong on the special side, I think it's gonna be very hard for me to have like a great switch in for it. I think something like I'm gonna use Iron Bundle as an example, right? I don't have the greatest switch-ins to Iron Bundle. It gets access to Freeze Dry. It has Hydro Pump. It has uh, that's all it needs. So,
If it can land its Hydro Pump
and
still.
those two, yeah, that's fair. It does have to land those Hydro Pumps. My best switch-in is a Regice, and it'll switch into it 30 billion times out of the week. But the rest of my team won't. Like even Venusaur doesn't really want to keep on taking like ice hits over and over again.
I mean, it
Like it
does
does
have
have
thick fat.
thick fat, but yeah, and I do have to Mega Evolve with it first, so I can't switch it in immediately. So something else still has to take the hit.
True.
So I think that is my team's like number one weakness. It's like that special side, and because of that, if somebody like takes advantage of that and just like brings like a bunch of like hyper offense special side attacks, then they can probably take me down very easily. Uh, I think one of the things that works with my team the best, though, is my ability to take on physical attackers, and also just me in general being able to, you know, run a team of all Reggies. But
As much of a
it does
meme
give me
team,
limited options.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
As much as a meme team this is, the way you've built around it with your last 5 picks is really good. Like it actually makes
Yeah, I
this
definitely tried to.
it definitely makes this team more scary than what you initially see it as. Like especially once you go into start calking and stuff. Like I know because my friend was had to face a Mega Venusaur in his match in Ore Division. A choice banded triple axle from Adamant Weavile did like 50% max to Mega Venusaur.
Whew. Mega Venusaur, you got a thickum thing going on there. Thick.
Like this team is
Uh,
really
yeah,
scary.
no,
Like you have Lando Therian, you know what Lando does. Like it's hard to stop. You have Hisuian Zoroark, Starmie. Like I'm a advocate for bulky waters. Every team needs a bulky water, but this team can get away with it because you have the bulk of the Reggies, and you can Terra Water on Regice.
yeah, yeah. I would say probably one of the main weaknesses, if anything, if you can call it one, is I don't think my team's necessarily weak to most hazards. I think my team is also very weak to the toxic spikes hazards. So that's probably going to force me to bring Venusaur a lot, or to at least consider bringing some kind of removal for that because as bulky as the Regis are, they're all susceptible to poison.
I
So
mean,
that's one thing I
Regieleki gets
always have to
rapid
make
spin.
sure.
You're not gonna
It
run.
does.
You're
It
not gonna
does.
run much else in Regieleki other than like T-Bolt, rapid spin, volt switch, and like explosion or Terra Blast.
That's probably true. That's probably true. My poor boy doesn't have much moves. I mean, I could run Swift.
Oh,
Make sure I don't miss, you know?
choice spec Swift. But yeah.
Maybe if I can Terra normal.
Any final thoughts on your own team?
No, no. I really like my team. I love doing things that are like out of the norm or seem just for fun. I love playing the game for fun. I think that's the only way I can play. I don't think I'm even capable of playing a game seriously, unfortunately. It's probably my downfall. You might see me doing some like crazy stuff might allow you to just run the game over versus me. So, just bring hyper offense versus me. This might be very difficult to break with hyper offense, but just letting you know that's
It's really
as
the
as
only way you
me
can
knowing
play
me.
against it, or like a lot of toxic ones.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So,
All right.
throw some poison at me.
Supreme
All
Gambit.
right. This is the team that got number one pick, I think, right? Like they were the
Yes.
first to pick.
Yeah, they were first to pick.
Yeah, they got the first two picks are so strong.
The
We have
first
Iron
four.
Valiant. That thing's a beast. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about Agrippon. Um, I
Uh,
know that people were saying it's like super strong, but only if it can Terra. I don't know too much about Agrippon though.
uh, Ugapon, I think the water one is it's your water immunity for the team, which you do have a little bit of a weakness to. With Nido King, Diancie, and
Oh yeah,
Crocodile,
look at that.
it does get water
Yeah,
absorb.
that's true.
It also has a move called Ivy Cudgel, which is base 100 and has a high chance to crit. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well,
So
you just taught me about Agrippon, whatever its name is. I mean, other than that, I do like the team. It's very strong, a very strong Pokemon. You've got a fast team too. I think your speed tiers are very good in both Charizard, Iron Valiant. I like to think that Iron Valiant has a better speed tier than it actually says because it has
yep.
the ability to do the booster energy,
I
and it
thought
also,
I thought it was like 123
yeah,
speed when I first saw it.
yeah. And then on top of that, like its ability to either run special or physical, whatever you think you might need, is super strong here too. Or you can even do a mixed set, which can really set like defensive cores back. Like it's just such a good breaker in my opinion.
But once again, this team falls victim to not having a Mon above 120.
Yeah, I
120,
think
excuse
one
me.
of the main problems though, I think one of the main problems with this team is the fact that you're probably going to bring the first 4 to 5 mons every single week. The rest of them don't seem like they'd be able to put too much of a fight. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Uh,
And please,
but
please, please, for
the
the
Terra,
love of God, change Terra Ditto to Terra Diancie. Please, please, please. If there's anything you take away from this, change Terra Ditto to Terra Diancie and your team becomes like 5 times better.
poor Ditto, it's trying so hard.
It doesn't need it,
Uh,
in my opinion. Because like
yeah.
sure you
The
one you have to guess the terror that you actually want it to be because you have to guess which 6 mons come and what terror type actually um you need. Two, only gets transformed, doesn't get terror blast, so you're running off the 4 moves you transform into with imposter. And three,
yeah
sometimes you
the
actually
Terra
want to be the type that the other one is, because once you terror, you're stayed
yeah.
you are still that type for the whole game.
Who knows? It could be good. It could be like a secret tech. Like what if you become a copy of Aegislash and then you're I don't know. I I don't know. Terra something. I don't know.
You can't defend
I
this.
don't know.
You can't defend this.
Ditto's a strong one.
Ditto, you
One
either
thing that is
love or
cool
hate
though is that you
Ditto.
do have access to yeah. One thing that is cool is that you do have options to use sticky webs, which does help specific Pokemon like Charizard. Instead of running Dragon Dance, you can run Swords Dance, get that extra attack power in that you might want, instead of the extra speed, which could be pretty cool and nifty. It also allows you to run maybe a modest or adamant Nidoking versus a timid one to outspeed an enemy's team. So could be pretty good. Could be pretty good.
Outside of that, your hazard game is decent. I actually kind of like your hazard game. You got few rockers. You got sticky webs. Nidoking for toxic spikes if you really want to be that guy. Um, you do actually have pretty decent removal in Defog, Rotom, and Rapid Spin Cryogonal. I do think Terra Rotom Fan is amazing. I think it's one of the better Terra options in the league. You obviously have like your great Terra options. I think it's one of the good ones. Yeah, just please change Terra Ditto to Terra Deante and drop Crocodile for another 2 pointer. Like I understand it's unaware. It's your unaware mon, but if it's Crocodile excels with Terra. If it's not Terra, it's kind of easy to prep for. But that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's probably true. I do like Rockalore as a Terra. That is, I like that. I do like it as a. All right, Supreme Gambits
All right.
at number 11. I like it.
The
Okay,
Ultra
before you continue this one, can you pause it?
Yep, we can pause. Yep. The Ultra Urshifus. I will say that we went back and forth on this team about its placement. That's the first thing I will say.
This
Um,
is true. It was very hard to place it a bit.
I'll let you take this one away.
All right, just getting a sip of water there. I think one of the main issues that we saw was one that a lot of teams are actually having, at least in our opinion, is that it doesn't have like a very strong balance of a mix of special attackers and then physical attackers. Excuse me. Oh gosh. Okay, all right, I'm good. Choking on water. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are two really good special attackers in both Raichu and Goldengo. Um, However, I think Goldengo works better on your team as a defensive option rather than an offense. However, it could be either. So that's the beauty of Goldengo because it does have one of the greatest abilities in the game, and it makes it so your hazards stay forever for the most part.
Yep.
In its typing and in both its ability. I think the only thing that can get on that is tidy up, and I think only two people have access to that in Linoon and no, Linoon doesn't get it. Furret gets it, right? It's only one person. Yeah, so if you stack hazards and then you go with your really strong attacks, then you can probably run away with the game really easily. Uh, but my personal gripe with the team once again is just the lack of a super strong special offensive threat. So it makes me feel like the ability to send a physical defensive mon in is going to be really strong versus you. Otherwise, I do like the team a lot. I love Tentacruel and Screamtail, especially as defensive options. I think they're really good. Tentacruel being underrated for sure. Avalog, I think he gets access to Rapid Spin if it really wants.
Yes, it
I don't
does.
really like it too much.
So
I don't like Avalog.
you have two spinners and I think two defoggers. Yeah, two defoggers. Mega Aerodactyl and
Gliscor, yeah.
Gliscor.
Yeah.
That
But
brings me
like
on
I said,
to
I do
my
like the team. Very strong.
gripe of the team, and this is personal preference, is that you drafted Mega Arrow right after you drafted Gliscor. I personally do not like it. I think your team needs another breaker. I don't think Mega Arrow was it. And also your Terra option to Terra Diplin instead of Raichu. Um, Honestly, I think you drop Mega Arrow, um, Diplin and Raichu, and you pick up Mega Manectric, Tangrowth, and then something else for like 4 points. So I think Mega Man Electric and Tangrowth make this team a lot better than Mega Arrow and Diplin and Raichu.
Yeah,
Um,
Mega Manectric is honestly so strong.
and you can
Like it, I love it.
pick up what did I say? Yeah, Terra Evia like Ursaring. Because Ursaring gets Eviolite now.
That'd be great.
So it makes that thing
That
bulky
is
and it
true, it
hits
does.
hard.
I like Diplin. I like Diplin a lot. Diplin as a Terra Captain actually seems really interesting because to me, one of Diplin's downfalls is actually its typing in Dragon and Ice. Having access to being a Terra and having that Eviolite, I feel like that can actually make it pretty good. Once
Diplin
again, though,
cannot
one of its
Eviolite.
problems. Wait, it can't? I thought it could.
Nope, it's fully evolved. Diplin.
Really?
Yeah,
Could have sworn I've seen people using it.
it
Maybe I'm wrong.
shouldn't because it's fully evolved.
Huh. Well then, I take it back. Sorry, you candy apple lovers. Enjoy your candy apple, and yep.
Yeah, yeah. Your hazard game is great. Stealth Rock spikes and Gliscor. Um, you can run
The toxic spikes off of Tentacruel. Does Tentacruel get it?
Tentacruel, yeah, Toxic Spikes off of Tentacruel. But yeah, another thing I
Nice.
don't like about this team is that you're forced to run rocks if you want rocks on Gliscor or Megadactyl. That's another thing I don't like. Is that you're forced to run a move slot on one of your two
Avalugg doesn't
mons.
get it.
I don't believe Duplin
Does
doesn't get
Avalugg
it.
not get it? No, Avalugg.
Um,
Avalugg looks like it should get stealth rocks. I mean, it's a boulder.
no, it does not.
Oh well. Actually, it's true. It's an iceberg instead.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You're waste. Yeah, in my
Yeah.
opinion, you're wasting a move slot on a mon that needs all four of its moves. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I think that's why we ranked it 10th and not. We originally had it at 8th when we were first going through the teams.
Yeah, one thing that teams versus this one has to really take into consideration though is making sure that they have a defensive presence because if they don't, and that or Shifu single strike is going to blow through teams along with Aerodactyl having access to both its top claws abilities and believe Sword Dance, Dragon Dance, whatever kind of dancing it does, and
Mm,
then the ability to just click on that flying move. Not even I forgot what it's called. Still one of the two hitting ones.
dual wing beat, yeah.
Yeah, it would be better if it had better flying type attack, but dual wing beat isn't bad.
Yeah.
It breaks what is it? Focus sashes, sturdies. Sturdy might not matter too much, but it does get earthquake. So maybe most things that have earth sturdy are just weak to earthquake. But Aerodactyl's going to hit really hard, and the enemy team has to make sure that they definitely prep for that because if they then those two Pokemon alone can run away with the game.
Yeah. Alright. Moving on to the Indiana Illumise. I'll let you take this away because I first this team week 1.
Indiana Illumise. Let's see. Let me just take a look at the team real quick
I
because I
will
kind of
say,
forgot
well
about this
done on
one.
drafting your logo mod. Proud of you for that. Big fan.
This is
Um,
this is true. Nice little Illumise.
it's a great 1 point
How good is
prankster.
Illumise? Does it get Prankster?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah, it's pretty good. I think
It's
this
it's
Prankster
a
Prankster
worse
Thunderwave
version
is
of
always good.
Volbeat, like very very slightly worse version of Volbeat. Um,
Or Illumise. Honestly, you don't know what Illumise looks like? You know, blow up mattresses. Doesn't it look like one of those blow up
it
mattresses?
does.
Like it just lays down. Like
It really does. Oh my
like
god.
oh my
Uh,
gosh. All right. Let me actually get to the actual team now. So, you get extra 10 points for style for me because of Umbreon. Favorite evolution. Love it. Zamazenta Crowned. I am not too familiar with what those Zamazentas do. I think this is the one that you. I don't know how they run. I
This
think
is
one of
the
them you have
worst
to run
version.
a specific item on.
It's this one.
This is the worst one. Okay.
This is this one.
This is
This
the one
one
that has to
is
run
like,
this specific item, right?
yeah. This one I
Okay.
think is like base 660. Zamazenta. Yeah. I know this one's base 700, but the other one's base 60. But the other one's arguably better.
Yeah, because they can run different items,
It
right?
can
Is that
run.
what it
It
was?
can run different items. It can also. It still has Dauntless Shield. It also just has a single type in fighting. So even though the other one is 40
Yeah.
base power, 40 base points lower, I think it's arguably better than this one. Even though this one's still good, it's still great. I think the other one's better in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it does get steel type added to it. Just like the other one though, its major downfall is the ability for special attackers. Like it's gonna force somebody to always bring a special attacker because they cannot be walled by that thing. If they're walled by it, then it will take away the game easily.
Yeah,
Samazenta, both forms are very, very strong defensively. And if you do not prep for it by having a special attacker, then that Iron Defense substitute body press set is going to take you out. Like it's so strong. Not a lot of Pokemon can break it. It's a super strong Pokemon. Shaman Sky very strong as well. Mega Diancie,
yeah. I do
another
not
strong
know
Pokemon.
how we let him draft those three in his first three picks.
Yeah. The only problem though is that the rest of the team definitely seems to be lacking in power. They're very good Pokemon. They're lacking in power, unlike those first three. And once again, it limits the team in terms of its versatility because of that. Because the strongest Pokemon on the team are also defeated pretty easily, in my opinion. Like Zamazenta, like I said, if you prepare for it well enough and you bring just a very strong, who knows, it can even be just be a scarfed psychic type, and you can probably take it out. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is the steel one, right?
Yeah, that's the same
So
one.
yeah, so there's plenty of very strong fire moves then, and people love fire type Pokemon. Shaman Sky, it does what it does really well, but
Yeah,
once
the
again, I think it's
annoyance
very
of this
limited in
mon.
its move pool.
The annoyance of this
It's
mon.
just gonna flinch you. Yeah,
In
it's gonna
my
flinch you.
game,
It's gonna make your defense rating fall.
yeah, in my
Yeah, go
game,
for it. Tell
it
me.
parried flinched me 6 turns in a row.
Well, at least it didn't Thunder Wave on top of it. I'm looking at you, blimp. What is that Pokemon? Togekiss? Yeah.
He
Ugh.
used Thunderwave on Illumise on my Sinistcha. I got two Calm Minds up.
I know.
Um, he wished past into Zamazenta. I got a special defense drop. He switched back into Illumise, killed it, and then he went into Shaman Sky and proceeded to spam air slash. The first 5 turns he flinched me, and on the sixth turn I got paralyzed.
That sounds about right.
But
That sounds about right.
yeah,
I mean,
honestly, in
honestly
my
though, I do like the combination of that with Rabombi bringing up webs, and then Future being like a just a very good Pokemon
I,
overall.
I honestly
It
don't think this team
it
benefits
lacks
from webs. I'm gonna be real. I think you literally
it
just have to
does and it
bring.
doesn't.
I literally think you just bring Rabombi as a breaker or as a
So
chip.
here's the reason why I think Rabombi does actually benefit, in my opinion. Uh, if you have Rabombi out and you put down webs, it allows you to run a modest Sky Shaman and also allows you to run a more defensive Zamazenta because Zamazenta is really fast on its own and not having to put in extra points in a speed to outspeed Pokemon that are probably going to have to be scarfed in order to deal with it, then I think the webs help a lot right there. I do like webs here personally for specifically those first three Pokemon, especially for Diancie since you know it can't be scarfed or faster than what it is. So if you just run anything faster than what its base speed is, then it's really easy to deal with. But with webs, makes it a little bit harder,
Yeah, I
at
guess that's
least in
true.
my opinion.
I think this team's hazard removal is shit. You have Rapid Spin on
Yes.
Blastoise and I think Defog on Sigilif. And then again, if you're bringing Blastoise
Uh,
every week, you're bringing Spin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know too much about Sigilif. I know that it like is gonna be really cool with certain things it can do. I know it can do Calm Mind, Store Power, Terra. That's gonna be really strong.
Yeah, I think
I
your
think that
Terra
can
options
actually
are
catch people
great.
off guard. Yeah,
The
I
only the
agree.
only thing I would have liked to see is possibly Terra Goodra, because I know Goodra can Terra, it's 10 points, but then you would have to Terra like something else. That's the only thing I would have liked to see.
Illumise.
Illumise. Oh,
It would have to been Illumise. Yeah.
but
Hey, no,
honestly,
little
I think his
Illumise.
Terra options are great.
I do like it a lot. I think Terra Palisand would have been better than Rabombi though, personally, but I do
Yeah,
like it still.
I can see that.
I
But
think
anyway,
Palisand Terra would have been a better defensive option, but yeah. Yeah. We can keep going.
let's move on to the Stomping Dinos. Um, this
I love the
was
name.
yeah, this name is great. I'll take this one and you take the next one because I know who the next one is. Um,
Okay.
Next one's me, by the way. Spoilers. Um,
Ah. Ah.
I honestly think drafting Zero Aura first is a little weird. You kind of got away with it by getting Zapdos and Iron Bundle as your round 2 and 3 picks, and then Garchomp is 4. You can't, you, like, you played a game of luck and you won. Um, I think Zero Aura is an
I
amazing
do like
Mon.
the team.
I just don't think it's a round 1 pick, in my opinion. With what's on board.
I actually I like this team very much. One of the things I think it suffers from once again though is the same that believe who was it? The Supreme Gambit's team kind of is gonna have a problem with, and it's the fact that you're probably gonna bring like the first 4 to 5 mons again for your team almost every time because those are like the best mons and they're like so strong at what they do.
Mm.
Granted, they both can do something slightly different. Like Garchomp can set up hazards, and Dragon Tail it can be a defensive one or it can be offensive.
I think we're
Um,
gonna see more of a
I-
defensive Garchomp throughout the season, just because you have
yeah,
Zero
I can see
Aura,
that.
Iron Bundle, Gyarados, and even as your offensive threats, you can run Gyarados. Sorry, not Gyarados. Garchomp and Sizzle as your defensive checks. Really, you can, and I'm a really big fan of defensive Garchomp.
Yeah, I do like defensive Garchomp quite a lot. Just make sure you don't, the have a opposing fairy type, and you're good.
Yeah,
I do like the Rattata on the team. I hope the Rattata sweeps me. I really do.
I
That would
really
be
hope
a
he
dream come true.
I really hope he gets something done with this Rattata. I hope it just doesn't sit on the bench.
I know. I want the Rattata to come like once or twice. I'll
Yeah.
be happy with that. Um,
Um.
I really like
Overall,
Serena. Serena's actually really strong here as a Terra captain. I actually really like Serena.
oh yeah, I'm a big fan of
And
Serena.
Mantine.
I don't even think you
Those are
needed
both really good
Mantine as a
defensive
Terra Captain.
options.
Mantine by itself does well for what it's supposed to do.
That's true. However, just imagine this, right? Imagine like a Terra ground Mantine. You're immune to water types because you have water absorb, and you're immune to electric types now because you have the ground typing. That thing is pretty cool. You become weak to ice, but whatever. Who cares about ice?
Yeah, Ice is a fake.
Not a lot
Ice is
of,
a fake type. Let's be real here. I'm kidding.
but yeah, I think, and then on top of that, like Mantine is very specially defensive, very
Oh
strong,
yeah,
has
it's like
access to roost,
130 or
and is
140 special defense.
yeah, and having access to like Scald, I believe, to get those 30% burn chances. Serena being a really good rapid spinner, probably being forced to run boots in order to rapid spin certain things, maybe, or to be
Yeah.
effective at it. I think that's one of the main issues with Serena, but I
Yeah.
really like Serena though. Um,
Once again, this team falls
and you can
victim
even
to not having them on between Garchomp and Iron Bundle and Speedster. A lot of teams have done this, including myself. You'll see it next slide. I did it myself. Um, Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
speed
just
tiers can be important because they allow you to fluctuate with the natures and either run like have somebody run modest versus you, and you'll be forced to run like a timid to make sure that they don't. And then it's like it's a whole hassle. That's what the speed tier issue is about.
yeah. I think it's a decent team. I think yeah, overall it's solid. It's not like the best, it's not the worst. It's like it's just you look at this team and you're like, cool, I can run this team. This is a team I can run with.
Yeah, it's awesome. Iron Bundle, very hard to switch into. Very strong special
Just hit your
attacker.
hydro pumps because I saw your game one. You missed your first hydro pump. We don't like that.
Yeah, you might want to put some glasses on that Iron Bundle. All
Yeah, I'll be honest. Anyways,
right, let's go to your
this team should be number one, my opinion. Just personal
Yeah,
preference.
it's pretty good. Yeah. Let's talk about your turn one pick. Why Mega Lopunny?
Do I need to explain it? Did you see my nickname?
Um, Northshire Nidoking's Crook Hunter's Edge. What's your nickname?
did you see my nickname for it in my first game?
Oh no, what was the nickname?
Look at them legs.
I mean, that's honestly, if you're gonna pick that as your turn one, you should have gone Vaporeon turn two. If you and just to balance things out, Jinx Hun three. So,
um,
oh my god.
nah. Mega
Um,
Lopunny
all
one.
right.
I wanted a really strong Mega. And I wanted it before a lot of the good Megas went. Um, and like I said in my team review video, check that out if you haven't. Um, arguably I should have picked Great Tusk here. I should have picked
I do
Great Tusk.
remember seeing that part of your video.
Um,
Um, you could have. I like Great Tusk. I do. Um, However, I think it is overrated in a draft format.
mm,
Don't get me wrong; it's really good as a Pokemon itself. But once again, it falls victim to only being good at what it does, which is good. But it also means you're probably going to bring it every single week, which means people are probably going to prep for it every single week.
exactly.
But it is still very strong. One of the things that I like about Lopunny is its versatility over the Great Tusk. So I actually like Lopunny as your turn one pick because a lot of people don't know this, but Lopunny has some interesting moves. It can learn Fake Out if you need to get rid of like somebody that's sweeping. So you just swap every out and then it has access to Thunder Wave if you actually want to Thunder Wave somebody. It has access to Copycat if you think somebody's going to turn one and use rocks. You have rocks with Lopunny now. Like it's a very fun mon to use, and I've actually used regular Lopunny before, and it's also fire fun to use. So uh, definitely don't sleep on its extra abilities that it has access to. So definitely take a look out for that. I even think it has access to quick attack if it really
It
wants to
does.
double up on priority.
It does.
Yeah. Having the scrappy ability makes it so there's like almost no switch-ins, at least not for the ghost types. Um, It's really good. I think it also blocks Intimidate now, I think.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think so.
I actually really like Lopunny here as one of the stronger megas, in my opinion. I also like Enamorus, very strong on its special attacking side. Rotom Wash also assisting in either being that. Tom being notorious for being very hard to take down because of its defensive and its typing, and its ability to make it immune to one of its weaknesses. Very strong, along with Iron Shreds also being another good pick for them. Having access to hazard removal if needed. Sinistra, I don't know too much about it. I know it has Matcha Gotcha, and that's a fun ass
let
thing to
me tell
say.
you about Sinnoh. I personally got 5-0'd by this cup of tea, um, British Pokemon. So I wanted to draft it, so I didn't have to verse it. And so and it actually works very well with my team, especially with Terra. Um, This was my check to Zamazenta Crowned in my week 1 match. And Behemoth Bash did like 29% to Sinister, and like with Terra Poison, it allowed me to basically check it still, especially against with Skyman, getting rid of my flying weakness. I get Strength Sap,
Yeah,
it's a
this is
potential sweeper, it's bulky as hell, it heals itself much gotcha. Um,
yeah, I think it's a good option for sure for Terra. I think it's one of the stronger Terra mons for sure.
yeah.
I like the rest of your team too. Like you have Snorlax as its bulk, Turtonator as another bulk, especially on both of them complementing each other on both the special and the physical side to help out with the rest of your team if you ultimately end up needing it. One of the things I like about Turtonator is that it's Terra here, which makes it just a little bit better, or not a little bit better, a lot better in terms of like its unique ability that it has. I think it has like a one move where you put down like a landmine or something like that,
Yeah.
and it does like it's so strong, but you usually die because you're a Turtonator. But now since you have the Terra on it, who knows? It could be really fun. It has shell armor, can't be crit.
We love that.
The only thing it's yeah, the only thing on its downside is that once again, because of its fire typing, it does get weak to rocks. But you do have two decent Pokemon in getting rid of them.
Uh, I
Jinx
have
also being weak as well,
I have
ultimately.
four. I have four removers on
I
my
don't know.
team.
Let's see. We have Rotom, Iron Treads.
Volbeat and
Those are
Turtonator.
the only two that we know. Volbeat can get rid of Red.
Volbeat
Yes, you
gets
do.
defog.
That's amazing.
Thanks to
I love
defog.
it. You do also have that's great. I do like that a lot. You do have access to poison type as well. That's grounded in Overquill. Really cool, by the way. If you wanna, for some odd reason, run Rain Dance Snorlax with Thunder and having Overquill with the Swift Swim and Rotom for stronger Hydro Pumps. That'd be really fun to see.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
Enamorus, just the other ones, have like a special attack that doesn't miss in the rain as well. Maybe? I
Springtide
don't know.
Storm, I
I
think.
think the other ones have. Yeah,
But I'm gonna
pretty
play
cool.
devil's advocate here. Once again, my team falls victim to what a lot of other teams have done, and that's no speed between Megalopinian and Iron Treads. Um, yeah. Arguably, I could have fixed. No, I couldn't have fixed that. I could have fixed that with my last three picks and made it two picks, going from 11 to 10 mons. I could have fixed that, but then I would have had a mon that a speed tier that didn't work between Iron Treads and Rotom Wash. So arguably, I fixed a better one out of the two. But I still am looking at trying to fix Mega speed tier between Megalopony and Namorous. And the other one is a lot of people don't like my Snorlax pick. And Snorlax, I picked Snorlax for two main reasons. One, it's my special wall. And two, if you didn't see my week one battle, it helps. Snorlax helps against those big tier special threats like Polt, Spectria, Chi-Yu, Skyman. I'm looking at you, Skyman, week one. Go watch that battle if you haven't. Oh, it'll be
Yeah,
up later. That week one
it's
battle will
it's
be up later.
its ability. Yeah, its ability to have the thick fat is also very good here too. On top of that, if you actually need to run immunity 1 week, that could also be very helpful.
Uh,
Especially if you're not expecting your opponent to have a fire type that's really strong, like myself, that doesn't have a strong fire type. Maybe immunity would be better.
yeah, I ran immunity week one just in
Um,
case he was running toxic because I didn't need thick fat.
yeah, exactly. Like sometimes you just don't need the thick fat, and so that immunity does come in handy. I do like the team. Um,
I think this team just
If I was
falls
to
victim.
say,
I think my team just falls victim to the speed and not having a third breaker really. I've got a lot of potential setup sweepers. Potential is the key word there. Potential. But just having two breakers, I would like a third. So I'm looking at changes potentially.
yeah, I would say the main issue is that you do only have two main offensive threats since the first two picks. The
Yep.
others, they chip away. The main two are the top two, but you do have setup in Iron Treads and Snorlax. Um, Maybe even Necrozma. Necrozma, oddly enough, gets Dragon Dance.
Oh,
So
yeah,
who
Dragon
knows?
Dance,
Could do something with that.
Carmine. I ran Carmine week 1. And we one-shot the Mega Diancie. Spoilers. Um, anyway, next up is the
Nice.
Maryland Mary Janes. This team
Marilyn Mary James.
is... I have one issue with it. And Vox will
Take it
disagree
away.
with
What's
me
that
here.
issue?
And that's Swampert with Rillaboom. I do not like that combo.
Yeah, I do. I do disagree. I like Swampert with the extra heals, and it has access to high horsepower, so its earthquakes aren't affected. 95% accuracy. Who cares? I don't care.
Hey. If it's
Perfect.
not 100%, it might as well be 80%. Um,
Let's. Uh,
yeah, I
love it.
personally, I just don't like that your water ground type is paired with a grassy terrain mon. It's personal preference. Like, Vox likes it, and that's fair to him. Like, we value to our own opinions. Um, but you getting oh, did I put Torn Incarnate? LOL. Is this supposed to be Torn Therian? Am I dumb? Yep. This is supposed to be Torn Therian.
It is supposed to be Therian.
Oh, LMAO.
Look at
uh,
that.
wow.
Found
It's
it out.
it's like we made this like so quick that we didn't even check over those slides. One
You know what?
second.
I forgive you. I don't know if anyone that's watching forgives you though.
Oh,
Especially the especially the coach of the team itself, Dr.
oh.
Cordyceps.
You know what? You know what? It's called live editing is what we're doing right now. Um,
But while you do that, then I'll talk about, a little bit about
yeah.
the team. I like the team a lot. One of my favorite things about the team is actually the Terra Typhlosion. I think it's going to be so strong, being able to hit things really hard with its what it's known to do. It's just clicking eruption. So if you run a choice scarf and go Terrifier, then it's like you're running both a choice scarf and a choice spec. So it's gonna be really strong on that end. And then of course when you start taking damage, then you just switch it over to like a flamethrower or something like that. It's still gonna hit really hard. And then you can once again maybe even purposely take some stealth rock damage every now and then and do like a late game sweep, but be in blaze range and use like fire blast or something like that. It's gonna be like it's so good.
Wow,
It's gonna hit really
it's like
hard.
we've had
And
Torn Therian the whole time on the screen.
hey, look at that.
Um,
um, I do like the compliments of both Swampert, Sylveon, and Gudra. Even Hoopa to an extent, and Zamazenta, of course. Like, the defensive capabilities that your team has is so strong, and I think that's what really pushes it up there. Drapion as well, having access to uh, I think it's called Battle Armor, where you can be crit, and then
yep.
itself just being like another defensive mon. I believe it has like base 100 defense and a decent HP stat. Like just all together, I really like the team. I think one of the main issues on the team though, is the offensive pressure outside of Zamazenta Typhlosion. Um, Rillaboom is really good, especially with like in terms of how hard it hits, but it does make it easier to prep for. But I still do like it. Sometimes you just can't even prep versus Rillaboom; it just hits too hard. But I just very much
And
like the team. They have Cleric and Sylveon, and yeah, I like the team.
yeah, I also just think that another downfall of this team is your hazard removal, and that's being Kamala and Torn. Because you're not going to bring Kamala every week. That's the thing. Kamala's going to come like twice, maybe 3 times in the season, which means that you're forced to either bring Boots Defog on Torn, Defog itself without Boots, or you just don't care enough about hazards that game to remove hazards.
Yeah, I think one of the other issues on top of that is because the main hazard removal is Tornadus' defog. It means it's going to do one of two things. It's going to get rid of your own rocks, and it's going to get rid of your terrain if you need to use that for something. Maybe to sponge a ground hit on Gudra or something like that. Um, I think that's definitely something to take into consideration when you're trying to remove the hazards if you decide to opt to go that route. And then on top of that, if you don't choose to bring Drapion, which might not be the best matchup in every single game, somebody might bring Toxic Spikes, which is going to be very, very strong versus you, especially the Zamazenta and Sylveon Core, and Swampert. Like
Yeah.
those three, you don't want to get poisoned.
Other than that, I think
So
I think I
yeah,
would like to see another hazard setter. If I'd be honest, if I'm honest with you, I think I would have liked to see one more hazard setter with this team and remover. Either or, probably remover. Probably just another
yeah,
removal
I like the
one.
Terra
Terra Hoop is
Terra Hoopa
amazing.
could hit hard too.
It hits like a
Yeah, I
truck.
like it.
You're basically kind of forced to run Scarf every week if you do bring Hooper. Um, that's because 70 speed and like this thing has 60 defense. So if you like,
Yeah,
if they guess your Terra right before the match starts, because we're doing Terra preview, um, like they can just prep for Hooper.
yeah, that is the unfortunate downfall of Hoopa. It's a little frail, yeah, on the defensive side.
Special defense,
So
it's great. 130
if
special defense.
yeah, special defense is great, but practically any physical attack would take it out, especially since it's a speed tier. So definitely look out for that. We're looking at you, Lopunny. Easily one shot it.
uh,
Don't even have to go for the fighting move. You can use a normal move
no,
because it has scrappy.
yeah, it's
So
great.
yeah,
All right, moving on to the delightful Dedenes. This was another team we had a little issue with placement. It was kind of hard to place this because of how good it is.
yeah. One of the things I'll take it away for this one. Um, one of the things that I personally don't like is Sneasler because of how fucking strong it is. See, I almost cursed there, but I didn't. I said, well, I'm not gonna do it again. Anyways, having the very strong combination of Electric Seed, Tapu Koko, it's gonna take out, or sorry, Electric Seed with Sneasler, and the terrain with Tapu Koko. Like Sneasler is just such a strong mon. It hits hard. Samurott being its a signature move to set up the spikes and not even having to worry about magic bounces or anything similar. Latios hitting hard, having a great speed tier. Um, then on top of it with Sneasler and Coco, very strong team. I like it a lot. I like the defensive capabilities of Bronzong and Donphan. Iron Jugulus also working off of that electric terrain. It's really good. I really like it.
I think my
Um,
only two issues with this team, and that's the Leafeon and Porygon 2 pick. I feel
what?
they.
How come you don't like Leafeon?
It feels out of place here. Uh,
That's fair.
it feels like in my opinion, it feels really out of place here. I understand that you need a grass type. Um, I just think there's better grass types that are still on board other than Leafeon. Because Leafeon does one thing, and that's click SD and like Leaf Blade and knock off. You're rarely ever gonna see this thing
Yeah.
run anything else other than SD, and it's not even your Terra Cap as well. Um,
Yeah. Another thing too. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I'm done. You're good.
Um, okay. I was gonna mention something else too. At least on the negative side, the team is hyper offense, which is great, but there are going to be those moments where you're probably going to want to have access to defensive capabilities because of something that's going on. And I think that's where the team kind of lacks in a way. Porygon is a very, very defensive mod, so is Donphan physically. Bronzong is kind of like those weird niches where it can be either or, so that's going to be pretty good. But it does put a lot of pressure on them.
It puts a
And one
lot
of the
of
things that I
pressure
was going to
on.
mention.
Sorry, sorry. Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, yeah. It puts a lot of pressure on them. And then the main problem with the team is that you do have a poison type on the ground in Sneasler, but if somebody sets up toxic spikes, you probably don't want to switch in Sneasler on any attack because it is a frail little baby. So there is that to consider. Obviously, if things are in the right circumstances, like electric terrain and your electric seed or whatever you're gonna do, focus sash or whatever it is you're trying to do there, it'll definitely help out. But Sneasler being the one that absorbs it is a little bit more scarier for the team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the team's great. It's gonna hit hard and it's fast.
Yeah. I also just think that it forces your Latios to be especially bulky most weeks as well, with no real special wall outside of like Porygon 2's kind of there, Ronzong's niche. Leafeon's got great defense, but special defensive wise, your team kind of lacks, in my opinion.
How do you feel about the Terra Captain in Iron Jugulus with electric terrain?
I love and hate it. I've got a love hate relationship with Iron Jugglerus. I think it's a
That's
great.
fair.
I've got a love hate relationship with the Mon as a Terra Cap. I think it's amazing. In Electric Terrain, I think it's great
Yeah,
because you can
yeah,
literally
I
run
agree
you
because
can run choice specs and just have put enough speed so Quark Drive boosts your speed instead of your special attack, and you just run choice specs, and this thing can tear a hole through a team.
yeah, I think so too. It's gonna hit hard. I really like that emote. I like a lot. And then if it for some odd reason has access to some kind of electric move, I don't know much about these new Pokemon. I'm gonna be honest, I don't.
Let's have a
I don't know
little
if
look see, shall we?
yeah, because this could be like
It gets Charge Beam. That's
that's
it.
not the electric type I was talking. Whatever, it gets Terra Blast.
Yeah, it does get Terra
So
Blast.
just run that with like yeah, Terra Electric, Terra Blast, with Tapu Koko. It could do something.
Yeah.
Electric type is a very strong type, and if they don't expect it outside of Koko, then it could be really scary for the enemy team.
Um, yeah, and this team's way to remove hazards and set up hazards is great.
Yeah, yeah, Bronzong, Donphan,
Coco, if you
very
really
good,
wanted to run
very good.
defog.
Well, that's fair. You could do that.
Um, yeah, overall, this is a really, really solid team. Um, yeah, moving on to the glamorous Glaceons. Um,
Glaceon. This team kind of just wins though because it picked a Mudkip. Good job.
yeah, 100%. I think this team's
Oh
first
yeah,
7 picks are amazing. I really love this team's first 7 picks. Mega Garlade,
yeah.
Spectria, Alolan Ninetales, Terra Flygon, Volcarona, and Mandibuzz.
I think one thing that everybody that faces this opponent has to watch out for is Aurora Veil, and then any one of those other first seven setting up and just sweeping you.
Mm.
Gallade with um, Sword Stance, Spectrier with like a sub or a Calm Mind, Empoleon. I don't know what Empoleon does, never mind. But Flygon, Dragon Dance, Volcarona, Quiver
With
Dance.
with
Like,
Terra,
yeah, with Terra. Like
I'm surprised.
these though any one of those with Ninetales is so strong.
You could even run Throat Spray, Terra Normal, Boom Burst if you really wanted to be that guy. Um,
Could do that. That'd be fun. That'd be awesome, actually. Yeah,
uh,
yeah, that'd be so cool. That would be so cool.
and then we
No,
get to your bottom 4 picks.
hey,
Um,
no. All right, all right, all right. Hear me out. Hear me out. You ready? All right. I don't know if Volcarona ever got nature power, but if it did, and it gets that Thwacky out, you got yourself a Volcarona using Needle Arm.
I'm
Huh?
physical grass move on a Volcarona. It does not get nature power, so you can take that
All
thought
right,
out of your
well,
mind.
I tried.
Uh, I think Terra Thraki's great. Terra Thwacky is great. I think it's a great mon.
Thwacky isn't the Terra.
Is it not?
It's Linoon and Flygon.
Oh, what? I thought it was Thwacky. Oh my god. It's another blunder on my part.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
uh-oh. I'm gonna get flamed twice.
All right,
Oh,
let me keep talking while you do on-screen editing. All right, so Alola Golem, pretty cool. I love it. I like the ability that it has to trap in skill types. That might give it the capability to set up on somebody, possibly. So, like, if somebody is running, let's say, for instance, the previous team that had Bronzong, you can potentially set up on Bronzong with Golem. You can do, I think it gets automatized, automata, uh, whatever. Basically saying that the magnet pull can be so strong in Draft League if they're not prepared for it. So that can be like a secret sleeping sweep. That's the really cool part about it. Everybody knows what Linoon does. It, like slaps on its stomach and then it goes really fast, hits you. Nothing too fancy there, at least in my opinion. Mudkip's really cool, really cute Pokemon. It's probably gonna Mud Slap and then
yeah.
force you to get like disqualified because you reduce the accuracy, but whatever. Cool Pokemon. Uh,
Actually, I think Mud Slap's legal.
is Mud Slap legal?
I'm pretty sure Mud Slap is legal. Rules. Um, Accuracy.
All right.
Moody, Oko, Evasion, Endless Battle, and Sequels will apply. King's Rock, Razor Fang, Bright Powder, and Laxensis are banned. Sandvale, Snowcloak, or anything that may raise or lower accuracy is banned. Okay, never mind, it is banned.
Well, no running Eviolite, Mud Slap, Mudkip
But please bring Mudkip to at least
with
one battle.
Endeavor.
Please be, please bring Mudkip to one battle.
Yeah. I do like the Swish initiative that Mandibuzz offers for the team, along with Flygon if it really needs to.
And Empoleon.
Ninetales, like I said.
Mhm,
Yeah, oh, that's true. It does have Flip Turn now. But I
mhm.
think the strongest part of the team is Ninetales setting up the Aurora Veil for one of those sweepers. I think that's going to be really strong, especially Volcarona.
I think,
Volcarona can sometimes be so difficult to take down.
yeah. I think the one big issue that stops us from putting this in first place is the fact that this team is very, very Veil dependent, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, it definitely can be. And then there's not much else in terms of getting a benefit off of the snow part,
yeah,
which is
because
fine because what if one day you want to run like
Terra
a
Ice Flygon.
snow, sorry, yeah, exactly. And then start setting up and increasing the defense. It could be fun. Gives you access to an ice move. I think it already gets ice beam, but whatever.
Mm. Yeah, I think this team's just very. It clicks Veil and you go into a sweeper. So if they bring like something like Brick Break and stuff to stop your Veil, um, like it's good. I think your defensive options in Mandibuzz and Empoleon are great. Golem to an extent. Um, I just would have liked to see another defensive option, in my opinion, especially like a good special wall. Yes, you have Empoleon, but Empoleon's not going to soak everything. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. It's I love the team. I really do. Defensively, I really like it. Empoleon, Mandibuzz, even Volcarona defensively can be pretty good with the burn ability that it has.
And does this
I,
team only
I
get
really like it.
rocks as well? I think it only gets.
Flygon probably.
You got Empoleon and Golem with
Golem,
rocks.
yeah. I think one of the issues that it could come up against possibly is like another um the poison one because
Chocolate
there's poison
Swish,
type.
yeah.
So that could be yeah. So that could be a problem possibly, but who knows?
Anyways, to our top three, uh, we have Black Roses. Uh,
Yeah, this team hits really hard.
yeah, and it's got really good defensive options with Tinglu, Corviknight,
Yeah.
and Mega Blastoise.
Yeah, and honestly, even Shaman sometimes. Slurpuff being Terra can absolutely wall some attacks as well. It's very strong. And Dragapult, Shiyu, both very strong in their hitting. The problem that people I think will have with Dragapult is that initial figuring out if it's special or physical. Like those Pokemon that have that high speed tier, along with being a mixed attacker, is always the most scariest thing you have to try to figure out first. I think it's always going to come first. It always has Swish Initiative and U-turn. Chi, we know what it does, but it does it really, really well.
Yeah.
It's just going to click Overheat and you're just going to die.
Unless you have a
Corviknight,
Snorlax.
that's true, unless you have a Snorlax. Um, what do we have here? We have Corviknight, one of the best slow U-turners that you can possibly get into to get in those Chi-Yus or Dragapults. Tinglu being one of the tankiest Pokemon when it comes to special attacks, I think, right? This one's the special attack wall.
Yes, because its ability lowers special attack.
Yeah, and then Magikarp, Life Orb, Alakazam hits so hard too. And
You can even
some weeks
run
it might even be able to.
you can even
Yeah,
run
go
inner
ahead.
focus for that Megalopony that someone has. Actually, I
That's
saw I
true.
saw a game where it was they led Lopunny and Alakazam. They were both Megas. He Megas Lopunny and he fakes out, but he doesn't Mega Alakazam because of inner focus and one shots the Mega Lopunny with Psychic.
Oh, that's so good. I like that a lot. Yeah, so like those small things, they definitely matter. Like it's so good. It's so good.
My only
Uh,
nitpick with this team, and these like last couple teams, are like I have, it's very small nitpicks. I think Terra Slurpuff is good. I think Terra Shaman was the better option, in my opinion.
mhm. So that definitely could be true. That is true. I think a Terra Shaman would be very strong. I'm not sure what the purpose of a Terra Slurpuff is. My guess would be to be a sweeper with Belly Drum,
Unburden.
some kind of Terra to, yeah, Terra, buried Belly Drum, berry becoming a type hit, so that way you can make sure to survive the hit. I think one of the best things that I like the most about this team specifically, though, is specifically versus the teams that have terrain on them, like your Rillaboom and your um, Tapu Koko, because Blastoise has a very hidden ability called Terrain Pulse. And if you try to switch in your Swampert while you have that terrain up, Blastoise has Terrain Pulse Grass. Or if you try to think that you're going to, but you're probably not staying in with your
It's basically the weather
Sneasler
ball
versus
of
Blastoise
terrain.
anyway.
It's basically the weather ball of terrain.
Exactly, yes. But the beauty part is that Blastoise, because of its Mega Launcher ability, makes it such a stronger hit too.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
I like about it.
yeah, yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
I just
Who
think
knows?
yeah.
Maybe even they might do that with Alakazam and run the psychic terrain for whatever
Ooh,
reason.
yeah.
Could be really good versus the sucker punches for Dragapult as well, and for Sam himself.
True.
Maybe even to help keep Slurpuff alive versus bullet punches if it wants to do double Terra Fairy to get the stronger play roughs. Who knows? Who knows? Could be good. Like the team, Glimmet gives
Yeah,
Toxic Spites.
toxic debris.
It
It does get that ability.
yeah, it probably has access to the Immortal Coil Rapid Spin too.
Yeah, Wilson. Yeah.
I like the team a lot. I think it's gonna hit really hard, and I think if you don't push for it in the best possible way, then just one slip up can just eat one of your defensive bonds, and it just happen over and over and over again.
Yep.
You've lost the game to beautiful choice banded, choice specs, Dragapult, and Chi, respectively.
Um, number two, and this could have very easily been number one. Uh, is Wishes Wings.
Yeah, like the team. Have bad memories with Chanpao. Uh, and
I will say
yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
Chiampao, so
Hmm.
no words.
No, um, in all honesty, Zapdos is such a strong either offensive or defensively. It's so good. Chanpao, probably the strongest physical attacker you'll ever come across because of its ability mainly, and then its super high attack stat, super high speed stat. The only problem is that it's a little frail. and it can get easily revenge killed by Vacuum Wave, which is now much more accessible, maybe even Bullet Punch, those kind
Yeah,
of things.
be
Like they
wary of
really hurt you.
Gardevoir. Be wary of that Gardevoir. If someone,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
even know if Gardevoir got drafted, but Gardevoir gets vacuum wave. So
Yeah, and you gotta watch out for like Clefable wish passing. Aegislash can once again be physical or special, and it hits really hard when you're not expecting it. Gastrodon, one of the greatest defensive Pokemon in the world.
can we
It's
talk
not true,
about
but I like
how
it a lot.
this team has probably the best Dragon Fairy Steel Core and Komodo, Clefable, and Aegislash?
Yeah, I can add that in and add in the Gastrodon just for like extra flavor too.
Extra flavor, you have an underrated Terra option, underrated Terra Captain, and Terra Delphox. I've used Terra Delphox before. This thing is a menace. 104 speed, has like
Yeah,
120
the
special attack. Um, all you Delphox haters out in the world, uh, come play Draft League and use Terra Delphox. This thing is a menace. This thing
so one
tears.
yeah, yeah, and one thing to also remember too is that Morgrem is still like the other thing, Grimmsnarl. It can still set up screens, it can still have Prankster, it can still hold Light Clay. The only difference is that it probably can't hold leftovers, or if it does do Light Clay screens, then it can't do Eviolite. But it's
I'm
fine
not a
because you
big,
probably want to die anyway.
I'm not a big fan of Morgrim. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think for one point
I
it's
kind
a
of like
good,
it.
for one point it's a good pickup. I think for this team, I think screens are really only good for Chiempao and really Chiempao, Superior, and Delphox, because Zapdos, Komodo,
No way.
Clefable.
You have Komodo.
Komodo doesn't really
No,
need
Komodo has its
screens.
clangor scales.
Komodo doesn't really need screens.
Doesn't matter.
Like
But it can still benefit from it.
it
It's
can
also
still
good with the
benefit.
Delphox too.
Yeah,
But also,
I said it
yeah,
benefits
don't forget
Delphox.
that Delphox can also do it too.
Yeah,
Yeah. I meant like Delphox can also do screens if it wants to.
yeah.
Even Smeargle.
I really
Oh,
like the
you know what's
Terra
really cool
Smiggle
about
pick. I really
Smeargle?
like the Terra Smiggle pick. I'm a big fan of Terra Smiggle.
You know what I like the most about Terra Smeargle though? Is that it's access to any ability. So if you're gonna go like the previous team where they're gonna Aurora Veil, that means you could just run Smeargle with Aurora Veil just for
Yeah,
tons of it. So you also have access to it. It's
exactly.
it's so fun. It can it's probably gonna have every hazard in the game. It's probably gonna have Spore. It's gonna do annoying things that you don't like Smeargle to do. It's gonna
Uh,
do it because it's Smeargle.
the one thing that this team lacks, and is that your only rapid spinner is Smiggle. Your only spinner is Smiggle, and your only defogger is Zapdos, and that honestly stops us from putting it at one.
Yeah, that's probably what does it. I love the team a lot though. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
I think it's
It's gonna be
super crazy offensive and defensive pressure.
yeah. Yeah, the offensive pressure, the defensive pressure is going to be really good. Its ability to set up the hazards, its ability to put you to sleep, it's going to be really good. Still like Morgrim though.
Fair enough. Um, Kuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
It means no worries
For the
for
rest
the
of
rest of
your
your. I can't sing that.
days.
If we sing it, it might demonetize the video. If you care about that.
Yeah. Um. All right. Number one.
All right, you go first.
I have one nitpick with this team. Like, and it's a very, very, very small nitpick with this team. Um, Primarina is a great option, right? It is a very, very good option for this team. I personally think Alola Mola is the better bulky water type for this team. I think you drop Primarina and Houndstone, and you pick up Alola Mola, Terra Tinkaton, and something else. I think this team benefits more
Mm,
from Alola Mola than Primarina, but I understand the Primarina pick. The Primarina pick is a great pick. I just think this team benefits more from Alola Mola. But
yeah. I think what I like about this team is Well, everything really. I love the Terra Captain in Espeon.
That's a good
Terra
one.
Espeon is one of the things that caught my eyes first, and it's such a good Pokemon
Yep.
because being able to Terra Espeon and having that magic bounce ability, also having such a high special attack stat, and also a high speed stat, like you can do so much with this thing. And then I love it so much. I love the speed tier of your whole team in Meowscarada, in Caesar's Priority. I love Salamances. I love Great Tusk. I just love the team. I think Grafia is actually pretty fast too. But
Grafia is 110
yeah,
speed,
like
has Prankster, and has Switcheroo. So, what I have done to destroy a threat is run Prankster, Switcheroo, Lagging Tail. Because Lagging Tail makes you move last in priority bracket no matter your speed.
yeah, exactly. So another thing to keep in mind too, if you don't want to run Lagging Tail, you can actually run Iron Ball, and if you do that, it makes it so nobody switching or whoever's in, they can't be immune to your Great Tusk's Earthquake. So remember that.
Yeah, yeah. I think
While
this
still
team.
reducing the speed too.
I think this team's great. It's got good offensive pressure. It's lacking on the defensive side a little bit. Um, but then again, you're running Fluffy almost every week except against the Sand team, where you're probably running Sandrush. So you have Sandrush,
No,
you have
yeah.
Fluffy with
I
Houndstone.
mean, even defensively though, Rotom Heat, it has access to Will-O-Wisp.
Oh yeah,
It's still just as bulky as Rotom Water. Salamence has access to Intimidate. Primarina is just a great defensive typing. Great Tusk is just really bulky on its own and it hits hard. Same as Caesar. It's like a base 140 feet defense.
yeah,
Like it's yeah, and then they still hit very hard. The offensive pressure that Caesar especially offers is such a high one. I love Meowscarada. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Like I had three options. This is what I was gonna do. I was either gonna do Reggie's, I was gonna do all kitties, or I was gonna do uh, the other thing that I mentioned
Ultra
earlier that I
Beasts,
forgot already.
Ultra Beasts.
Yes, Ultra Beasts. Yeah, so I was gonna do one of those things, and I was like, which one would be more fun? And I was like, let's do the Reggies. But the cats and Meowscarada were about to be my first pick.
Yeah,
So
I
just
I'm a,
for
I'm a big fan of this team. You can keep this team the same. I just have this one nitpick, and it's just I think a Lola Mola works so much better with your team than Primarina does. But Primarina works like well with this team.
yeah, I do like Primarina on the team a lot. Primarina is a surprisingly a really strong mon that I didn't think would be when I first saw it. Um, I I will say that no, I can't even say that. I like your team. It makes me happy. It makes my heart beat twice as fast, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's
like I love its defensive core. I love its offensive pressure. I love its ability to set up hazards with Grafai and Meowscarada. I love its ability to bounce them back or be immune to Espeon and Houndstone respectively. I just love it. I love it.
yeah,
Makes me happy.
this team is number one for a reason. It makes both of
Yeah,
us happy. Like you look at this team, and you look at it and you're like, okay, you have Mega Scizor, you have Great Task, and then you start going down the line. Oh shit, there's a Meowscarada, there's a Terra Espeon, there's a Salamence, and you're like, oh, how do I actually prep for this?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I know how I'm gonna prep for
I know how
it.
you're gonna prep for it. You've got a bulky ass team of Reggies.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
anyways,
no,
yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say if you definitely don't have the right answers, then this team's pure power can just easily take over, I think, and probably take over the rest of the league too. Um, I look forward to seeing all of Kakuna Matata's battle.
yes. But anyway, guys, that is the
Fun fact, by
power.
the way, for those that didn't see, sorry,
You got.
I just wanted to say I just wanted to say one thing that was really fun to see was the Mega Caesar show. Quick shout out to the match. And that's it.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that is the power rankings for Sinnoh. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you Vox for helping me out with this and being a part of this whole process.
Of course, anytime and all the time. It's fun. I really love Pokemon. This is like my second, no, third draft league, and I look forward to trying to have as much fun as I can, and I look forward to being in the battles. Unfortunately, you and I don't battle, but
I'm happy about
could
this.
happen eventually.
I'm
Who
happy
knows?
about this.
Yeah,
That being said, guys, if your
yeah,
team is lower on the scales, it doesn't mean that you won't make playoffs. Like your team could make playoffs. Like there's a difference between having um like the worst team in the league in people's opinions and a really good pilot of the worst team, you know? So if your team's sitting
yeah. I
in the bottom 8, you can easily make playoffs. We're not saying that you can't. We're just saying that you might struggle a bit. But prove us wrong. We're happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I really look forward to seeing like a lot of the matches. Even my previous the opponent that I fought this week. I know we ranked him as number 16, but I actually feel like with the right little niches that they put in their team, they can actually take down a lot of teams here, especially with their hyper with their not their hyper offense, but the really strong cores that they have in offense. But
Yeah.
anyways, I do look forward to seeing that, and I do look forward to seeing everybody else's. I hope everybody stays happy and healthy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vox, again. And until next time, guys, stay safe. Make sure to be yourself.